5. I hope it's not 3.1. It seems to be 7 on this number. The patient did about 3.1%.
I think gas is going down though.
Sure. 3.2 by the end of the week. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, come to Andre. Oh.
Yeah,
Time
we're
to
ready, yeah.
start. I'd like to call a meeting to order, and I'd like to say welcome to our meeting this evening. Could I have a motion to call our meeting to order?
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that this meeting be open at 7 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Then could we have an adoption of the agenda, a mover and a seconder?
If I could, Your Worship, I'd like to add amendment to the agenda. I'd like to actually replace number 5 with a motion to reconsider. For
Okay.
bylaw, and I'm sorry, I didn't look up the number of the bylaw. I think it's in the name. Give me a sec. What is the bylaw?
There's, it's motion number 5 of the March 24th meeting.
Okay. Okay, you can keep going and I'll get to it's the half load restriction bylaw for description purposes, but I'll get you the actual number.
Is that number 5?
Yeah, let's see here.
Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 14th day of April 2026, be adopted as amended to include section 5 with a request for reconsideration regarding the overweight permit program
All in
2026.
favor? Carried. This is where I would disclose my interest in number 5,
Yes.
and
so-
you
Yep.
have it, okay.
Yep.
Next, could we have an adoption of the previous minutes? Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the minutes of the special council meeting and regular council meeting of March 24th, 2026 be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? Carried. Councillor Corbett, would you?
Sure.
take the chair?
You bet. So as council heard, I'm proposing a motion to reconsider for, and again, I still haven't found the bylaw number, but we will get it with respect to the bylaw that was passed by council recently with regards to the half load permits having a hard start and stop date from March 1st until May 15th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Correct.
I would actually like council to reconsider that for 2 reasons. One being I missed as part of that presentation by staff, and it actually was in the presentation that it was becoming in effect in 2026, which we are in the middle of. I don't actually think that it's fair of council to impose that in the middle of or during the half loads season or the spring season. However, in that motion to reconsider, I would actually maybe get a bit out in front of my skis here, but I would like staff to bring back a report that would look at an option where staff or the manager of public works, road superintendent, has the authority and the ability with a sign to turn half loads on and off. So if the roads are frozen, if it thaws out, then obviously half load restrictions would go on. But if it's still frozen, because winters are very different year after year with climate change and all the things that are happening, a March 1st implementation date of a hard date doesn't always make sense every winter. Some winters it will, and some winters it'll be you're frozen until the end of March. So it wouldn't really harm anything if people are running on the roads, or if it thaws a little bit and then refreezes, it allows some flexibility for our public works manager to be able to work with contractors when they're hauling, and at the same time preserve road integrity by not quickly or more quickly than not deteriorating our roads because of the heavy loads. So I believe if with 2/3 majority of council voting for a motion to reconsider, it would come back at the following council meeting for an official motion to reconsider. This is just to or to repeal, sorry, the bylaw that we had passed. At which point we can ask staff to bring forward. We just revert back to what it was previously for this year, with staff being able to bring forward options such as what I talked about, installing some signs in the municipality that the road superintendent can indicate to businesses when they aren't able to haul loads.
Into that report, I'd like staff to find out how many other townships actually have permits where you can buy to run in half load season.
Yeah, sure. I think, sorry,
Can
yeah,
only speak to the motion to reconsider.
okay.
Can't have questions on.
Oh, fair enough. So, in any event, so in front of us today is a motion to reconsider.
Is that, sorry, but is that not what that bylaw is about?
It is, but the problem with the bylaw that we passed is it's from March 31st until May 15th. There is no ability for full loads to run.
Right.
This would lift that and put in place the opportunity for a road superintendent to have more flexibility. So March 1st isn't an arbitrary date that will be picked. It will be picked based on the roads, the conditions, and the expertise of a road superintendent, knowing when it's fair and safe to run our roads without it quickly deteriorating. So that is why I'm putting a motion to reconsider on the table. I don't know if is there allowed questions or not allowed questions?
Not a lot of questions.
Okay. Was I even allowed to say all that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, it's a motion to reconsider. I wanted to at least put out there why I'm
It's
asking
good to have
council
a
to
full
reconsider.
explanation.
So this is to bring it back to council for discussion,
Yes,
and then questions can be answered.
yes.
Okay.
That was a question.
But it was a
Clarification.
good question. to
Point of
clarify.
order question, yeah. Okay, if there's there are not a lot of questions, so I will take a vote on, I'll look for a
No,
mover and a
Councillor
seconder.
Corbett, you have to move the
I will
motion.
move.
I'll second.
Councillor Clark, okay?
On-
Move.
oh,
Sorry,
I'm
I will
sorry,
read the
that's me.
motion.
That's me. Sorry about that, Andre.
I'm not going to do a recorded vote, but I'm going to ask to make sure that we have 2/3 vote.
Sure.
So I will, okay. Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Clark. Whereas Deputy Mayor Corbett hereby requests a motion to reconsider motion number 5 of the March 24th, 2026 regular council meeting regarding the overweight permit program for 2026, and council hereby agrees that the motion be brought back for reconsideration at the next regular council meeting. Councillor Clark?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Corbett? Councillor Featherstone?
Yep.
Councillor McInnes?
Yes.
Carried.
It doesn't actually say what I found the report to council of the overweight.
Your worship, you're back in
It
business.
doesn't say what the bylaw number is.
No.
If you could find it, that would be great, if you need it.
But we don't need, we just need to say it's a reconsideration of the
Okay.
motion that was in, because there was no bylaw that was passed.
No.
Then we're at number 6. then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Question period.
There were no
Understand.
questions submitted.
And next we have the staff reports. And this is a report. Nikki, you're given the reports for the public works, yes?
Sure.
This is a report for the double surface treatment report.
Okay, so the municipality issued a request for quotation to obtain competitive pricing and qualified contractor services for the application of the double surface treatment on Development Road, Ruther Glen to McNutt Road, Trunk Hill, Sunnyside, at the East Ferris boundary, totaling 2 kilometers of roadway. And the surface treatment is a cost-effective method for improving road surfaces, particularly in rural areas. This process supports the municipality's efforts to maintain and extend the life of its roadway infrastructure while managing long-term capital and maintenance costs. The municipality maintains a mix of gravel, surface treated and paved roads, many of which serve agricultural, residential, and seasonal traffic. Double surface treatment is typically applied to upgrade gravel roads to a sealed surface, rehabilitate aging surface treated roads, reduce dust, moisture penetration, and ongoing maintenance costs, such as cold patching and gravel application, and then improve road user safety and drivability. Surface treatment aligns with the Township of Bonfield's asset management strategy, helping to extend the life of road surfaces by sealing against water infiltration and overall wear. In previous years, the municipality has used surface treatment as a preventative maintenance tool for roads at the end of their gravel life, surface upgrade for high maintenance and high traffic gravel roads, and resurfacing solution on previously treated roads where full reconstruction is not required. Past projects have been completed by third-party contractors with support from the municipality's public works staff for site prep, traffic control, and inspections. Challenges observed in the prior years have included inconsistent application quality, poor adherence due to weather conditions, or inadequate improper surface prep, delays in scheduling during peak construction season, and as a result, this RFQ evaluation emphasizes contractor qualifications, adherence to specifications, and timeline reliability, as well as costs. So the RFQ closed on Friday, March 27th. There were 3 bidders. Miller in the amount of $177,390. Duncor in a total of $155,490, and Greenwood at the cost of $203,524,000. So during budget deliberations, after the quote was requested, there was discussion to pave Trunk Road and Gagne Street where it deteriorated during the spring thaw. A quote was received from Miller for paving that would change the total expenses of these projects. Removing the tar and chip costs, the additional costs with these 2 upgrades are outlined below. Trunk Hill paving Trunk Hill would be $159,000, and Gagnon Street is $106,500. So the total cost would be $369,990, and that's all through Miller. So the recommendation that council received this bid submission as submitted, and further that the tender be awarded to Miller Paving with the addition of paving part of Gagnon, correct, Street, and the upgrade to paving Trunk Road Hill and the remaining double surface treatment as outlined in Development Road and parts of Sunnyside Road in the total amount of $369,990.
Thank you. Any question?
I just have a comment, that, it may seem like we did not take the lowest bid, but to some points, it's value for money. And we did have prior work from proponents that wasn't up to snuff, and so we take that into consideration when we are approving these.
Okay, any further comment?
My only question / comment is, following the conversation in the committee, we are shifting from chip seal to pavement on those 2 roads, Trunk Road and Gagnon, given the level of traffic as well as the steep hill on Trunk that the chip seal would not hold up, as we would not get value from that chip seal. So
Correct.
Thank you.
You good? Okay, I would agree with that as well, because that chip seal and sure doesn't last very long for putting the money out, as well have something there. There's a lot of traffic on that that hill. So do we have a motion?
Yes, and I just want to, if I may, Your Honor, no disrespect to CAO Kunkel, but we do have a Gagne Street and a Gagnon, so I just wanted clarification so the public doesn't think that we're paving one and not the other. So it is
That's fair.
Gagnon Street. Mover and a seconder.
That's fair.
A mover and a seconder,
We
please.
also have the same street that changes names 3 times as you drive in a straight line. So,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that council receives the bid submissions report for the double surface treatment RFQ as submitted, and further that the tender be awarded to Miller Paving with the addition of paving part of Gagnon Street and the upgrade to paving Trunk Road Hill and the remaining double surface treatment as outlined on Development Road and part of Sunnyside Road in the total amount of $369,990.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the report from Public Works Manager for Granular A stockpile.
So the purpose of this request for quotation is to obtain the competitive bids from qualified suppliers for the supply and delivery of granular aggregate for the stockpile at the Public Works shop. Granular A is a key material used in road maintenance, road base preparation, and ongoing infrastructure projects. The municipality seeks to secure sufficient inventory, 5,400 tons, to support both routine and emergency road work during the 2026 construction and maintenance season. So granular A within the Public Works Department is widely used for grading and resurfacing gravel roads, base material for all roadway projects, and washout repairs and culvert replacements. In June 2025, the significant storm microburst depleted the township stockpile entirely for emergency road work. With such significant weather events we have been experiencing, recent thaws and excessive rainfall, and this was done before today. Staff have been utilizing this material to perform the required regular and emergency work to the roads throughout the township. This is why it's crucial for the municipality to have a readily available stockpile. The RFQs closed on March 27th, with the bidders being LCI in the amount of $126,667, Miller in the amount of $111,361, and Houlihan at $166,933, and Degania at $127,836. And so the recommendation is that the submission from Miller in the amount of $111,361.50 is being recommended for acceptance.
Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that council receives the bid submissions report for the granular A stockpile, and further that the tender be awarded to Miller in the amount of $101,361.50.
I have comment to this.
Okay,
I'd like to defer this until the Public Works Manager gets back. For the price difference, I think we should put this back. I'd like to see it go back out to tender for strictly quarry A. No crushed A. Because all we're doing now is we're putting a sandy crushed A over top of our quarry A that we paid a lot more money for, and mixing that back in, it just puts our roads back to the way they were. So I'd like to have this deferred until Public Works Manager comes back and maybe put this for retender for strictly quarry A.
so, I'm okay with it being deferred, everybody else. Can I just ask another question though? When we used our gravel last summer and we put into the emergency funding, did we include the gravel that we had to use during that time? Yeah. So we could get money back for that as well? Yeah. Okay, I'm good to defer it.
Great.
Okay.
And sorry, in case people are watching, just for clarity and for me, that's because it's a far more superior product if you go with quarry A versus.
Correct. And that's what we're trying to build our roads up on quarry A now instead of.
Right.
And it just contaminates the gravel on top.
Yeah,
if
so
you
like
mix.
when they got potholes now, they take the stockpile and they spread it over top of the quarry and then they grade it in. Well, now you're grading it into our quarry A. So for the $2.70 a ton, we might as well just buy quarry A. And, we'll see what the prices come back, but There's only $2.70 difference between the two.
Okay, I'm good with that. Next, we have the report from Public Works, Quarry A granular farmer's line application.
So this RFQ was to solicit competitive bids from qualified contractors for the supply, delivery, and application of 2,350 tons roadway granular quarry on Farmers Line. This work supports the municipality's ongoing commitment to provide safe, passable, and well-maintained roads for residents, businesses, and emergency services. The municipality maintains a 126-kilometer network of gravel and rural roads that require regular regraveling and maintenance, such as grading, to maintain the proper driving surfaces and safe road conditions, restore road profiles affected by weather, traffic, and erosion, support seasonal use, particularly during spring thaw and summer dry periods with the calcium application, and reduce long-term maintenance needs by improving road stability and drainage. Gravel application, particularly with quarry granular A, is a critical part of the municipality's annual roads maintenance program, typically planned for the spring and summer months when possible, with occasional fall touch-ups or spot treatments as needed. The tender closed on March 27th, and the bidders were Poulin at $69,745, LCI at $67,715, Miller at $66,387, Degagne at $56,960, and Miles Brooks at $69,759. And the recommendation is to accept the submission from Degagne in the amount of $56,960.48. And that's at a tonnage of 2145. That's that $2 difference that we talked about.
Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Clark, that council receives the bid submissions report for the roadway gravel granular A Farmers Line, and further that the tender be awarded to Degagne in the amount of $56,960.48.
Any question?
Yeah, just a quick question if I could. Would it not be within the purchasing policy to actually just change the tonnage? We already have quotes on granular A here, correct? Could we
Yes.
not just change the tonnage
For Quarry A? Yes.
as opposed to have a
retender.
retender?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it's within the purchasing policy to just change.
The purchasing would allow, if the company agreed, to honor that, because at this quote price, it's for the supply, delivery, and application. So we're just looking for the supply when we're looking for the stockpile, and this is for the actual delivery and spread.
Okay, thank you. So, not equitable. I mean,
No,
that's two
just leave
different
it go,
things.
but let it go back to retender.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Back to tender,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I believe so
But-
too.
The spread application.
Yeah.
We're gonna vote on this one.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
quarry, for this one, yes.
Okay, all in favor? Carried.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have the, report from Public Works Manager, Winter Sand.
So this RFQ is to secure competitive quotations from qualified vendors for the supply and delivery of winter road sand for the upcoming winter control season. The successful bidder will support municipal operations and maintain safe road conditions throughout the winter months. The Township of Bonfield maintains, again, approximately 120 kilometers of roadway, including arterial, collector, and residential roads, which require regular winter maintenance. Roads within the township vary from hard surface, pavement, and tar and tip to gravel, all requiring winter sand applications. Winter road sand is a critical material used for traction and road safety, particularly in areas with steep grades, intersections, and high traffic routes. Winter road maintenance is a core responsibility of the municipality's Public Works Department, with seasonal operations typically running from November to March. The tender stipulates the standards of winter sand to ensure it meets all provincial requirements. In the past tender, the low bid company delivered the material through a subcontractor. And the posted tender is for 4,000 tons of material, but as discussed at the Corporate Services Committee meeting, there is a possibility of an additional 200 tons added to the stockpile as an emergency reserve. The successful bidder will work with the township to add salt, which we purchase separately, to the winter sand at a 3% ratio upon delivery. The bids closed on March 27th. The two bidders were Miller at $62,104 and Amyron with $55,370. So the recommendation is to accept the submissions from Miller in the amount of $62,104.
Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council receives the bid submissions report for the winter sand, and further that the tender be awarded to Miller in the amount of $62,104.80.
Any question?
Go ahead. Sure, we probably have the same question.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna touch on, again, we went with the higher cost, but we've had issues with, in the past with the other contractor, so dependability is what we're looking at. That's why we're going with the higher tender.
Minimal.
Yeah, it's better value. We don't have to have the concerns.
Okay, all in favor? Carrie? Next we have report from the CAO on the Economic Development Strategy, RFP.
So in 2025, the township was successful in their application through the Rural Ontario Development Funding Program offered by the province to complete an economic development strategy. The strategy's purpose is to determine business retention and attraction sectors and to become more investment ready. The township's tax base is predominantly residential, and a strategic approach for community growth is to diversify the tax base with commercial and/or industrial businesses. This funding will assist the township in reviewing existing businesses, engaging with the community and business sectors that already operate in Bonnfield, and determine value-added sectors that could be successful. A request for proposal was issued and closed on April 2nd for a consulting firm to create that strategy. The submissions were from KLB and Sequence at the cost of $42,500, Strategy Corp at the cost of $61,611, Qualtrics at $55,025, and Town Hall Consulting at $26,500. All four submissions were from reputable consulting firms capable of the scope of work and meeting the deadlines of the project. Interviews with the firms were held on April 8th, 2026. The CAO and the Councillor Clark scored the submissions, and the highest scoring submission was from Qualtrics with 219 out of 250 points, and they were tied for second at 199 between Strategy and Town Hall Consulting. But the recommendation is to accept the submission from Qualtrics to complete the economic development strategy and community profile based on the evaluation criteria and the scoring.
Any question?
Can you remind me again how much we received from the Rural Ontario Development Funding Program?
So it's 50% funding.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
our recommendation, I know it's not part of the question, but I can certainly, we did, this was a hard one we based it on the procurement policies, we scored it, and the high score was the one that we are recommending. And the province did give 50% funding. So this is still, although it's not the lowest bid, it is the most value added in what our end result will be, because we have very specific requirements that we want. So the total budget was 62,000 and they are at 55,000.
Great, thank you.
So the two figures I asked you about.
Yeah.
The 42.5 and in here it says 55. What
It is 55,000.
it is 55,000,
Yeah,
not
that was
40.
an error.
Okay, could we have a mover and a seconder for it?
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council accepts the submission from Quatalist in the amount of $55,025 plus tax regarding RFP 2026-06 for the completion of an economic development strategy and the Bonfield community profile.
All in favor? Carried. Now we have the adoption of committee meeting. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the corporate services meeting, April 1st?
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to review the draft 2026 budget as amended at their next regular meeting for approval, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carry. Next, we have Planning Advisory Committee.
Oh, there's still three more motions for corporate services.
Oh, okay, sorry. The second one? Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Corbett, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to adopt the delegation bylaw as amended, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. One more, a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Clark, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to authorize staff to prepare an administrative monetary penalty system bylaw that benefits both residents of Bonfield and the township in regard to timelines and costs of bylaw enforcement, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Any comments, questions? All in favor? Carry. Next we have items for,
Sorry, Your Worship, we still have more.
pardon?
Keep going.
Two more.
Two more.
Oh,
For
there's-
corporate services and I think 3 for planning
Oh,
advisory.
here, okay. Sorry, 2 more. Okay, the next one is the Boundary Road Agreement.
Mhm.
Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Corbett, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends the council to renew the Boundary Road Agreement with the Township of Calvin regarding Mount Pleasant Road without any changes, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
I just want to tell council that between the corporate services meeting where we were looking at the Boundary Road Agreement and it said 2009, so we thought we needed to update it between then and this meeting. We've actually found a bylaw that was done in 2019 that did extend the agreement until 2029. So it doesn't need to be reviewed.
Excellent.
Okay, all in favor?
So we
So we
don't
don't-
have to vote.
You can defeat this.
We
Yeah,
don't
we
have to.
yeah, we don't have to do it, yeah.
Okay,
Do you need us to formally defeat it?
Yes, please.
She called all in favor, none of us voted.
That's formal.
so we're just leaving it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Guess if there's no changes,
Right.
right.
yeah. Next one, mover and a seconder, please.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Clark, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to adopt the pregnancy leave policy as presented for council members and appointed members to boards and committees of the township, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Any comments? All in favor? Carried. Now we can go to number 9.
No, we have 3 for planning.
Oh, yeah, right. Trying to hurry this meeting tonight. Um, uh, I have a question to ask, but because I missed the meeting, the planning board,
Mhm.
and Jason didn't excuse me.
I did, I just didn't say it out loud.
You were there in spirit.
Yeah.
So I see one of the items, and I asked this question before we go in. I see one of the items, one of the conditions is if the person that has made the application, if they have any issues that may determine there should be something with the indigenous concerns or archaeological, they're to notify who? And is this one of the letters, like where we have the letter to the railway, to the
Yeah, to
MTO.
MTO.
North Bay Mattawa, all of those? So
Yeah.
we do a letter to the indigenous
Yes.
community,
Every time.
people, right? So, okay, because that kind of, just the wording of it, it seemed like if they saw something, then they should they should be aware of it and notify it. And that I'm happy to see that it is in the conditions and it is our planning notifies the indigenous people to say, do you have any issues with this? And they say, go ahead, then I kind of wondered if it was just the conditions we're putting those conditions on the people actually making the severance, but we follow the process all the way through. Okay.
Yeah, just for, I have the clause here that it states, it says that if any artifacts of indigenous interest or human remains are encountered during site preparation, construction, or related activities that work in the affected area, cease immediately, and that the AOO consultation office be contacted without delay.
Yeah.
That's the official
And,
wording.
and that's fine, but I wondered if we also notified them before we granted the severance. Yeah. So could I have a mover and a seconder for the planning?
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark. Whereas the Planning Advisory Committee recommends to council that consent application B4 2026 Robinson for 1 new lot be approved, be it hereby resolved that council approves this recommendation along with the conditions and notes as set out on the attached decision of approval authority form.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have the right form. All in favor? Carried. And we have to sign the approval. Robinson. Thank you. You have another motion for planning?
Yes.
A mover and a seconder, please.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor McInnes, whereas the Planning Advisory Committee recommends to council that consent application B6 2026 Woods for 2 new lots be approved, be it hereby resolved that council approves this recommendation along with the conditions and notes as set out on the attached decision of approval authority form.
Any question? All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Now we can go to number 9.
Nope, one more.
Yeah, there's one more.
Last
Oh,
one.
there is one more.
One more.
Do we have another?
No, there's no
No,
paperwork for this
okay.
one.
All right, could we have a mover and a seconder?
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Corbett. Whereas the Planning Advisory Committee acknowledged receipt of the planning report presented to council on March 24th, 2026, which pertains to a proposal to disband the Planning Advisory Committee and transfer its existing powers and responsibilities to a newly refreshed Committee of Adjustment. Therefore, the Planning Advisory Committee recommends to council that this matter now be returned to council for its final consideration. And further, that existing PAC members, Eric Hoisey and Camille Wroblewski, be considered for appointment to this committee.
Okay. Any questions? No?
I did all mine in the committee.
Well, you like to chat, so
Yeah, do you want me to talk? I can talk about
in
it.
in a short sentence, in a short discussion, you could say why.
We had a resignation of a planning advisory committee member. Given that we have only a few months left in this term of council, those members are appointed with the expiration of the term of council. So trying to bring a new member of the planning advisory committee in while we are trying to wrap up our official plan and then turning that into our official our zoning bylaw, the learning curve would be so steep that it would be unfair to the individual that would be appointed by council. So we thought best to move it over to the Committee of Adjustments, which as members of council, what I undertook to the remaining 2 members that were not the mayor and myself, because we are already sit at that table, is that if either of them were uncomfortable with it, that I would not support it either. And both were okay given the circumstances that we find ourselves in, and would be willing to join us at that table and continue the great work on behalf of the community. So was that short enough?
That's pretty good. I didn't want the whole report with pages and pages. And I would just like to comment, because I did see in the report that the next council could come back and change us back to the Planning Advisory Board and bring 3 members of the public and 2 members of council. So it's to help us carry through rather than bring in a new member and try and bring everything up to date. It's especially when we're in the middle of the official plan. Council is already part of that. So even though I missed the meeting, I did read the report.
And for the record, the mayor called me ahead of the meeting and told me she wouldn't be there and asked me to excuse her, mention that she wouldn't be there, and I neglected to do it. So I apologize.
I asked for an excuse. Please excuse me, and he forgot.
I forgot. That's my bad. I apologize.
That's good, though. It's okay. So it's the Committee of Adjustment.
You want a question on that? Or comment?
No.
No?
I don't know if I can answer your question.
Was could I ask is the Committee of Adjustment would accept the bylaw of the Planning Committee to that committee? That would just be a motion to accept the Planning Act on the Committee of Adjustment.
No, correct.
Correct.
It will follow the same process as the Planning Advisory Committee.
It's just like you would need a motion to accept.
And then, like I said, when the new council comes in, they choose to go back to the Planning Advisory Committee, according to what I read in the report. That's up to the new council when they come in. It's in the end result, and Jules are very aware of that it comes to council anyways before the final decision is made. So
Yeah.
well, let's hurry the process up. by going, then we won't have to bring it back to council?
No.
Do we?
still have to-
Committee of adjustment still has to come back to council.
We still have to
It-
come back.
It's still set up that way. There are committees of adjustments that go, that make final decision, but ours isn't set up that way.
So the same time limit probably,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Now we're going to do,
No, we gotta
All in favor?
call the
All in
motion.
favor, you have to carry this motion.
Yeah.
oops,
Did we
All
read
in
it?
favor, no,
all in favor,
I did read it.
Carrie. Carrie? There.
Now you can go to number 9.
The long-awaited number 9.
I've been waiting to get to number 9. No, seriously, there's, an issue. If a taxpayer wanting to, request to build a fence, which is a little bit higher than normal, except it's consideration of the property, because this property is on a hill. So do we have a mover and a seconder for this motion?
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that council approves the request to build a fence beyond the permitted height of 4 feet and up to 6 feet at the location known as 222 Railway Street in the township of Bonfield, and that all required permits and inspections be obtained.
I just want to say from the meeting that we had with the presentation, we really were looking for a timeline, dimensions, and material. So that was really what we were expecting back, but we didn't get that. Right? We got a picture with, so I really don't even.
The exact same thing we got
Yeah,
last
so I'm
time.
not really sure what, I'm sort of picturing this huge, fence, but I'm not sure what the dimensions are. I know we did get the material and we don't know the timeline. So if you go back, it was, the February 10th meeting. And, we were looking for information. So council advised him to bring a plan back, which would include timelines, dimensions, and material for them to review.
Okay,
So I'm not sure that we have all of that information.
do we have that information?
This is all that was submitted in reply.
What we have here?
Yeah. So in principle, I agree, but I just, if we could get a timeline and maybe what it would look like, I'm not really sure, given this, what I'm gonna be looking at. And it is a sort of a key area, as you drive into Bonfield.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. What do you think?
To be honest, in principle, I have no issues going up to the 6 feet. What I want to make sure is that it is the slat on slat. We have two different types of pictures here of the fence looking, and one looks like a prison wall and the other one looks like a natural fence. And I think we were pretty clear in the last council meeting, or the last time we discussed this, that the butted boards together was not an option if we're going to allow this to happen.
You mean like that?
I'm fine like that. I don't like that. See how they're stacked like this?
See, so we're
'Cause
not
then
really
it-
clear on
Yeah.
what,
Well, it's to keep the dogs in.
Yeah, and I think this will keep the dogs in. That's a pretty standard fence. This is, see how the boards are all abutting there? That, I think, will look far too fortress-like as you're driving into town and not a standard-looking wooden fence, which, again, we're trying to work with the homeowner. I think it's, fair enough. I do see in the drawing where he approximately wants to put it. It's just a picture of, I think, Google Earth with red lines drawn on it. I mean, it would be nice to have something a little more specific, but I want to ensure that that's the material that's built. I do understand the timelines. I wonder if it would be in council's purview to be able to say within this term of council, which gives them this building season, And then if it lapses, it's the next council's.
Yeah, but what happens if it lapses? We're not, if, the next council, then that's on the next council. I mean, that fence should be a month at best to build.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has to build it. I mean, we can say in a month, I guess, but
But I mean, what happens when he starts it, like,
it has to be completed by, I mean, I guess we need assurances from the homeowner that he would build
Yeah,
a
a
fence that looks like
timeline.
this.
Yeah,
And the timeline for completion would be
to
helpful.
me, our building inspector didn't really want this. He wanted to stick with the
The
chain
chain.
link and the 4 feet.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't see that being a complete eyesore. I actually think the chain link fence would look worse as you're driving into that property. That's a personal opinion, which I guess, doesn't super matter at this point, but.
I guess if we're going with that, my only other questions would be, are we digging down 4 feet, cementing the posts in so it's not blowing over in the wind? Like,
Is that part of the,
I guess that would be,
when you get the
that'd be a
permit?
Mike, that'd be the building
Yeah.
department
it
question,
would have
but,
to be built to whatever the building
yeah.
permit would
Yeah.
require?
So, and again, I feel like, I'm not sure that I have enough information. In
Like-
principle, for sure, yes. A
yeah,
6 foot.
I would like to see it deferred and then, the proper information brought back.
Okay, so we need to know exactly how high the fence is going to be. We need to know
What
the
style?
type, exactly, and
The
the
timeline.
timeline. And after reading the report, and we've had his report, the purpose of the fence is logic, because they have two support dogs, so they have to be able to keep the animals in, and I appreciate that rather than the animals running loose. So this is what the main purpose for the fence is, to keep their animals there and to be able to have their support dogs. So if that's 3 questions we need the answer, then they'll have to come back the next meeting with those answers and something specific that, like, I don't see anything wrong with that fence.
And that's
Do you?
what Councillor Corbett is suggesting that.
Yeah, I like that fence.
You like that fence?
Yeah.
So I would in principle be fine with saying you have the 4 to 6 feet. You obviously got to keep it on your property line and it has to be that style. Just so that we can kind of move ahead, because we've already kind of waited a little bit and we're in the building season now. And Councillor Corbett's point that we kind of want to finish this building season. I'd be fine with putting certain parameters on it and sending it back to him. And if he doesn't agree to those parameters, then he could come back to us.
That's fair.
You don't like this fence neither?
I'm indifferent. I don't care either way.
You don't care what fence? Well,
I think that one would look a
this
little
is
better,
a
but
very-
it's not my fence.
I think this one is a presentable fence.
Yeah, that's what this is here.
Yeah.
You can see how the boards are offset. These are not offset. That
But I
is
wouldn't want
just
to hold
a,
him up any more than what we've
yeah.
already.
Well, we have it, held them up.
Okay, so
Semantics.
we're not going to, would we just defer the,
I'm
Or
okay
motion.
with, if it's that fence, again, I'm sort of with Counselor Featherstone, I'm not either way, either fence. And like it's a 4 to 6 foot fence, like pick a height, right? So that's ambiguous. So is it a 6 foot fence? We are going to do a 6 foot fence. It's going to look like this, and
and the
It's-
time?
yeah, and I mean, I think we could have, it's going to be 50 feet long by 25 feet, though, I think that was the information that we were kind of looking for.
So our
That's all.
motion, so should we pass our motion with the specifics that we want?
Or if he just provides it, I'm happy to, yeah, because I don't want to be the one holding him up. I'm just saying that this really doesn't give us a lot of information. But if we say that he brings this information in principle, as long as he follows the building permit process, then I'm okay with that.
So sorry, I'm unclear. Are we tossing it tonight with parameters?
Yes. If you're gonna pass it, it has to have parameters.
Yes, yes,
okay.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
in order not to hold him up, that's not the
Yeah.
purpose of this, but I just don't feel that I have enough information. That's all.
So I don't think it's unreasonable that, like a 6-foot fence, I'm 6 feet tall, like that's not unreasonable. I'm fine. I don't know that I necessarily care if it's 5 feet, no more than 6 is kind of
No more
where I'm at.
Yes, no
Yeah.
more than 6.
Right,
Okay.
so if it's no more than 6, if it's the board, staggered board, that.
And not
I don't know what
that.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, not that, not board butted together.
I'm calling it fork and battens. But I know that's on a house, but
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if that's what this is.
So,
Staggered
Staggered
board.
board.
staggered board,
Okay, so we need the motion amended. Okay,
So permitted height of 4 feet and up to 6 feet.
No, yeah,
So
no
just take
higher
it.
than 6.
And then with the
Staggered boards
staggered board design.
yeah,
to be
And
completed by,
by,
And to follow all building permit rules.
yes.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
in the motion,
Yes.
staggered board design. Completed
by 3 months, within 3 months,
yeah, that's, Yeah,
That
that's
seems
fine.
fair,
This
right?
is-
Does that seem fair?
April, May, June.
Yeah,
The end of June.
End
So-
of June is fine,
yeah,
yes.
June
yeah,
30th.
yeah, we'll say.
June 30th?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and fully completed.
Yes,
It can't be, he's doing
Okay,
2 sections at a time.
here's
like
my
it's-
question on that. What if it's half completed? What happens? No, but
What
this is the reality, right?
Yeah.
What happens when it's if it's half completed?
I guess at some point, we're gonna have to say, he's gotta build it in good faith and undertake to do it.
he's asked.
Like,
so I
he's
will,
asked,
Yeah,
we're putting the olive branch out to say, yes, we're fine with it, we're gonna forego what is municipal rules. Hopefully, he honors we would like it done within 3 months, but
I would like to know the what if.
I don't know that there can be what if.
What
We
if,
rescind the
well,
motion.
okay, but if it's half built, then what do we do?
Should we tear it down?
well, it looks like he wants the fence for his dogs. So let's say by June 30th.
Yeah, but I'm in agreement with that, but what's the
Well, we
repercussion to
don't
that?
know what's going to, my crystal ball can't tell.
Yeah. Come on, there you go. Where's your crystal ball? Give it a run. I think as the CIO said, we could force them to take it down.
Does
We
that
could
fall
take it
under
down.
Mike then? Does that fall under
Yes.
Mike to
Yes.
enforce
It's
that?
bylaw enforcement.
Okay,
Then,
let Mike
yeah.
enforce it, that's good.
because then
Yeah.
that comes under
Okay.
property standards, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Or under the building code too.
It'll be more property standards with
Yeah.
an unfinished because you've given them the deadline.
Okay,
yeah. And he
Good.
did mention the landfill. I just want to remind him that there's 2 free cleanup loads, right? Right? We just reset the clock. So everyone has 2 free cleanup loads.
Okay, so by June 30th?
yes.
Yeah, June the 30th is good. Oh, if the snow ever goes away.
It went
And the
all the way
water.
today, I'll tell you
And the
that. Holy
water.
smokers,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll reread the motion.
Yes, please.
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that council approves the request to build a fence beyond the permitted height of 4 feet and up to 6 feet at the location known as 222 Railway Street in the Township of Bonneville, and that all required permits and inspections be obtained and staggered board design be used and fully completed by June 30th, 2026.
All in favor? Carried.
Great. So we're not holding them.
Okay, next we have a letter from Mayor Gould with respect to the sale of the escarpment land in the city of North Bay. Could I have a mover and a seconder before we move forward on it?
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, that council supports a request to the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority for a full consultation and transparency regarding the sale of assets, and that a formal plan for asset management and future sales be shared with all member municipalities.
Any questions?
It was a great letter, I thought. It was well-written and great bringing forward of our concerns. So I think that this because they have lands here too, right? So I think that this was very well crafted.
And yeah, so what's stops them from selling the land around here or?
Well, I kind of have a little bit of mixed thoughts about this because at this table, quite often we complained a little bit about the Conservation Authority and the ski hill and that.
More
And
than a little
now,
bit.
more than a little bit, and now it's gone and we're expected to say, well, we didn't want that to happen. But I also think about the same way as Mayor Gould is, that we are part of that. And was that information brought to the board with the?
Yeah, so this has been ongoing for a long time. What the biggest thing was trying to figure out what the assets are worth and what the property is worth, but it's really to separate the ski hill from the Conservation Authority. I would have sold it for $1. I would have sold it for $1 million. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I wanted it out of the Conservation Authority. Right? I don't want to be responsible for it. I don't want to have to replace chairlifts. I don't want to pay for the insurance anymore. I don't want to pay for the upkeep anymore. That building is old. I don't want to pay for that anymore.
Yeah, so I've had a problem with the building as well. Sorry, Mayor Paquette, if it's okay, can I say something else?
Sure.
Okay, so yes, fundamentally, I do have an issue with the ski hill. It's the process here that is what I'm looking at. So it wasn't about the ski hill, it was the process about getting rid of assets. And is there a process for North Bay Conservation too? Is there a process that they follow?
This has been like in talks for 2 years now to try and convince.
But just an overall, a policy or something about how they get rid of assets or sell assets and what the distribution is and the communication is with all of the membering municipalities.
Right,
That's what I'm looking for.
We've all paid into this
Yes.
for years
Yes.
and years and years.
Yes.
And
So they've got some money. Do we get a break now that we don't have to pay? How is
We
this?
won't have to pay for anything to do with the ski
No,
hill.
we have
Not
to
the
Yeah, but
pay
ski
still
for
got
hill.
paid.
No, but they made money.
$1.4
on
million.
it. Yeah,
I don't know if
so,
we've paid, have we not?
No,
When was the last
no,
time
we
did-
haven't.
yeah,
No,
don't-
we stopped paying for the ski
Yeah,
hill, but we
yeah.
still pay for Mattawa. and-
No, no, absolutely.
But all the years that we paid into it,
Oh, right.
and it's an asset,
I
right?
mean,
It's
so
part
it's
of,
just as much ours as North Bay pays a bigger share,
Yes.
but I mean, you know,
Did North Bay own that? He's got a ski hill at one time?
I think they did.
I
and then
think they did.
They sold it to the Conservation Authority.
And they're getting it back, but
Mhm.
that goes with, this goes with the territory of losing our assets with, same thing with
Castle
Castle
Arms, the Castle Home,
Home.
yeah.
Castle Home and Castle Arms, so I guess we have to rely on our representative that he's happy that it's gone and we don't have any part of it. And again, Mayor Gould had concerns about the rent that the
So they're gonna
Conservation Authority had to pay with a 10-year agreement would
We, yeah,
really be pretty high as
Yeah.
well. It was 14,000 a month? Was that what it was? Do you recall?
It's 140
So-
a year.
140 years, so basically,
140.
we're
10-year.
paying back the money that they gave us.
Yeah,
But we aren't. Okay, so I almost separate this into two things. So yes, happy the ski hill is moving on from the Conservation Authority. I think they need to get out of that business. Second of all, I agree with where Mayor Gould is going with this. Well, it's too late on this. I do think it's worth a conversation about how do member municipalities, whether it's a DSAB board or a Castle Home board or the Conservation Authority board. So member municipalities sit at the board. From my perspective, it's to support operations day-to-day, but all of a sudden, there's large capital changes that are being made. I think that there needs to be discussion of a mechanism that actually comes back to member municipalities who are ultimately the owners of these, right? So that's, it's a bigger problem than today, because I don't think that's,
no.
yeah.
but-
With the thoughts, and everybody thinks about the letter that did come to us, telling us the concerns, And at first, I thought, oh, well, North Bay has taken it over. That issue is no longer an issue for us. But then when you read what other municipalities' concerns are, then you think maybe we should be having the same concerns and the same thoughts. So that's where we are with our representatives. We do have Steve on the Conservation Authority, but for the Health Board, we don't have anybody on there. We don't have anybody on DSAB. We don't have anybody on Castle Home. So we have to expect the people to speak up for us. And that's how I think we probably were left out in the cold with respect to Castle Arms and Castle Home. And it seems to be people are not understanding why the municipalities are saying over these years, we were part of Castle Arms, we were part of Castle Home. And now we don't have anything to say about that asset. And so that's where this letter, I think, and what Councillor Corbett has to say is that's something that all the municipalities should be considering when they're offering an asset like this to be sold. It would be at least a courtesy to come to all the municipalities involved and ask if, what our thoughts are on it. And so we're back to the letter and I need a mover.
Oh, it's already,
We did that.
just need to call for a vote.
Pardon?
Just need to call for a vote.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Okay. We need number 10, right? And we need a mover and a seconder for the delegation of council powers and duty. A mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that council for the Township of Bonneville hereby adopts bylaw 2026-20, being a bylaw for the delegation of council powers and duties for the Township of Bonneville as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of April, 2026.
Any comment? I'm going to make a comment. This has been going on for a few months, and I did have concerns because we are delegating, council is delegating their powers to the staff, to other individuals, and it's under the Municipal Act. So we are mandated to do this. To follow the Municipal Act. Everything we do here is under the Act. So I struggled with it because we're giving our responsibilities and we're not altogether sure that everybody's going to do what we think. So we have to rely on that. And after reading it and reading the Municipal Act and reading these delegation of powers again, I'm satisfied that in the bylaw, it does anyone where the powers, when we have delegated to powers, the powers, then they can be revoked at any time with each individual. And also in that delegation of powers document, it also says that in a calendar year, it can be revoked by council. So that made me feel a whole lot better, especially when we only have how many months left, 6 months or whatever it is. So I am satisfied and to support this bylaw. So all in favor? Carried. Next, we have a bylaw to establish a committee of adjustment. A mover and a seconder, please.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council for the Township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-21, being a bylaw to constitute and appoint a committee of adjustment as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of April, 2026.
Any question? And it was all explained earlier. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have amendment to the tax policy, change to tax due date. A mover and a seconder, please.
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor McInnes, whereas the Schedule A to bylaw 2024-66 tax policy states that the due date for the interim and final tax bills will be the last business day of March and September, and whereas due to conflicting deposit reports received by banking institutions not received in a timely manner, be it hereby resolved that the due dates be changed to the last Friday of March and September unless a statutory holiday be declared, then the due date shall be the last Thursday.
Any question? No? I'm going to make a comment first. We have fees for service, and that's if we need something, taxpayers need something, they pay fees for service. I did have an incident where the gentleman came here and said he hadn't received his tax bill and he had to pay for his tax bill. I don't know why he didn't receive it. I don't know if it was Canada Post. I don't know if it was a mistake we made. And my concern is you shouldn't have to come in here and pay for a tax bill if you didn't get your tax bill. And I don't see that in the users. I don't see anything in this policy that anybody would have to pay for a tax bill. If they've lost it, could be their own fault, but how do we know that? And how do we know somebody's, it could be anywhere. A tax bill, you could have grabbed 2 tax bills and put it in one bill. You could have, the mail people could have stuck his tax bill in somebody else's mailbox. And not everybody brings back the mail. You made a mistake, they'll throw it aside. So in this, I don't know how I can say this that doesn't offend anybody, but I don't think when we have the amount of tax arrears we have, I don't think anybody should have to pay for a tax bill for whatever the reason. And I can also see there in there, there could be a charge for a receipt. If you come in and you pay your taxes, there should be no charge for your receipt. If you lose your receipt, that's your problem. But don't come in here and say, well, I can't find my receipt. When you come in, if the staff automatically gives a receipt, then you've lost it, you pay for it. But that's just my comment on that. I just think that nobody wants to pay 2 tax bills, and nobody wants to, if they don't have their tax bill and they're not content to come in here and pay it without it, then they end up not paying it or paying interest in it. Just a big dispute over nothing. And I believe that if I come in here and I lost my tax bill, believe me, I lost it. And I'm not paying $25 for one. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Wouldn't that be covered under the user fees though, user fee bylaw? Like, is that something we would address under the user fee bylaw?
Well, it could, except it's a tax policy, and I looked in that policy to see if there was anything with respect to a lost tax bill, and there wasn't. It did deal with an issue if there could be a fee for a receipt. There's everything in there, but I do not see anything if there's a lost tax bill. So you could use it in the user fees. I'm addressing it now. Yes.
So I'll say, I agree with you in principle, 100%. I think I would say if we're speaking of the same instance, and we might not be, I believe that there's a bit more of a story, if it's, again, it might not be the same, where tax bills were in arrears, they had received notice of the arrears, but somehow not the tax bills themselves. Like, I hear you, there could be a mistake, anything could have happened, Canada Post could have, you're right, could have been slipped
Yeah.
in, any of that can happen. I think what I want to make sure is we're going to support staff in ensuring that people aren't going to play games with that kind of, I lost my tax bill, I'm going to come in and get it printed and all of that for 5 years, which this was ongoing for. But I hear you, it's the cost of a tax bill. And I agree in principle that yes, let's not charge for somebody who did not get their tax bill. If it's going to mean that they're paying their taxes, it's an investment well worth making, for sure. Except at some point, it goes over the point of now somebody's just abusing the system, but yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know it's not what you're
That's
saying.
not what I'm
I
saying.
know
I've
that.
taken the man at his word that
Yeah.
he didn't, for some reason, didn't get his tax bill. And if there's something that we should put in there in the policy that we're going to charge for a tax bill, because it's not in our user fees. It's not in the policy. And that's why I brought it up.
How about everybody gets one free reprint? And then we hand it to them. If it's after that,
We can review it. I can look at all of
Yeah.
that.
And
yeah.
What the
I'm
concern
not
is.
trying to offend
No, no.
anybody. I'm
No,
only
look at it.
saying, I take the man at his word.
Yeah.
And where do you deal with it? It's not in the user fees. It's not in the policy. So that's
Yeah.
why I brought it up.
And I think I think it's completely fair. And maybe we do strike or, notionally give kind of the council intention, which is everybody gets a free reprint if they lost it. If you come back in 3 times because you've lost it after we've handed it to you.
That's it.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
at some
No, I
point,
like, it has, I'm not saying anything unreasonable.
No,
I'm
absolutely not.
saying if you didn't get it, sometimes you don't get your mail. You
That's
don't
right.
always get your mail. So, and not everybody, nobody wants a tax bill to start with, so
That's
they're
true.
coming in for it, then they really need it. So, okay,
That's fair.
all in favor?
So are we
The
deferring
due
this?
date, no, it's just the due
It's
date.
just a due date.
It's just the due
Oh,
date
okay.
that
Decision on the due date.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought we were going- Okay.
Nope.
I just wanted to comment
So
on
I'm
the
the
tax
computer.
bill. Okay, next we go. Number D.
Yes.
Bylaw to establish tax ratios. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, that council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-22, being a bylaw to establishing tax ratios for the year 2026 as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of April 2026.
Any question? All in favor? Carried. Next, we have bylaw 2026-23 to adopt 2026 operating budget. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-23, being a bylaw to adopt the 2026 operating budget, including estimates of all sums required for the purposes of the municipality during the year 2026, and to establish the tax rates to be levied as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of April 2026.
All in favor?
I have a
Any
comment.
questions?
Yeah, I just
You
have one
question?
comment.
Sorry.
So when we got on council, we were after the CAO pretty heavy to have the budget done. I mean, the budget's close, but I mean, having this done early enough to get our bids, our tenders out so we get good pricing, not in September.
Yeah, which
So-
used to be the practice, so.
Very
Well
good.
done.
Thank you.
Can I just say that the, the budget highlights was a fantastic document, and this is posted on the,
It will be, if you pass the budget tonight,
Yeah,
it'll be posted
yeah,
tomorrow.
so I highly recommend people going through it. It clearly, breaks out what our financial situation is, and that we are trending in the right direction. So we're not using reserves to lower the tax rate anymore. We are putting aside some healthy chunks for future and for reserves. We're, building programs. So this was a great report. Thank you.
I might be slightly more long-winded, but because this is our budget, I just want to make sure. So, for everybody who's interested, the overall tax increase is 3.1%. The average homeowner will pay $90 more per year, or between $7 and $8 per month more. Most households will see an increase between $0 and $133 annually, if we're going to be, if we want to go on the average. Revenue, so property taxes generate $4.2 million. Provincial funding totals $1.13 million. A previous provincial road funding program ended in 2026, reducing available funding. For anybody who's asking or wondering, I'm actually just surmising the CAO's great work. So am I stealing your thunder? Oh, sorry. Do you want me to get, okay. So spending priorities. So public works and roads are the largest expense. Emergency services, including fire and policing, are major costs. Health and social service contributions are required. About 35% of the taxes go to external agencies and boards, many of whom we've talked about tonight. DSABs, Conservation Authority, OPP, Castle Home. So it's a large chunk of the money goes to those agencies for the services that they provide. Major projects in 2026, so the continued resurfacing of Development Road, rebuilding sections of Gagnon Street, reconstruction of Trunk Road, the hill of Trunk Road, gravel upgrades on Farmer Line, repairs to Sunnyside Road, as well as the continued gravel program with major investments compared to previous. As far as our financial position, we have no reliance on the reserve fund for second year in a row. I think that actually needs to be mentioned. The previous budgets were relying on drawing down some of the reserve funds that the municipality already has a scarce amount of. So this council has made that decision to not draw down on those reserves, which is a great sign of a healthy budget. Asset conditions are improving with ongoing investments in the municipality. Community growth is helping reduce tax pressure. We're the second fastest growing municipality in our area, so I think that's worth noting. Challenges including aging infrastructure, debt levels, and lower reserves compared to similar municipalities. So what that means is we have to manage, we have $5 million worth of infrastructure deficit challenges to catch up to 2025. We do not have $5 million. That's we have an infrastructure deficit within the municipality, and this is what we've inherited over. I don't know how long it took to get to there, a long time, but it's not great. We have lots of bridges and roads that are far beyond their life expectancy. We have some new funding that will support economic development strategy, which we talked about tonight. Some of the cost pressures, obviously fuel costs have gone up, staffing costs, road materials such as gravel, debt payments for large projects, and some of the larger projects that have been taken. We can't afford that all in 1 year. Of course, that's why you take on debt to be able to pay those over time, like everybody does in their household. Increased social service contributions. So what does this ultimately mean for residents? It's a modest tax increase for most households, continued investments in road and infrastructure, and a focus on long-term financial stability and growth. So it balances affordability and necessary investments, and focus remain on infrastructure, financial health, and future growth. So I will say great work by council for setting this direction, but I also want to tip my hat to the staff. I know that it's a lot of work from the department level, feeding in, looking hard at your budgets, trying to come up with wherever cost savings are. And then, of course, our CIO who leads that and puts it all together for us and presents it to us and answers all of our questions. So it's been a big process, but I think well worth it. And I am proud of this budget. I'm proud of the work that this municipality has achieved over the last few years. And I think The last note I'll make is, as we talk about agency boards and commissions, all of our 3.1 tax percent increase, all of those levies that came to us were above 3.1%. So what that means is we're paying more to them than 3.1%, which meant that we had to find and cut things out of our budget to be able to offset that increased cost there without passing it on as a really large tax increase to the taxpayer. So it's never an easy balance to find, but I think we've done a good job.
And I think so far, I think we are the lowest in our tax.
I have not seen one lower
No.
in
So I
the
mean,
area, so.
so it shows that, you know, we trimmed where we had to trim and
Yeah.
keep it low.
Well, making those investments.
Right.
Very good.
Thank you for allowing me that much time.
Oh, you're a little over your
Yeah.
couple of minutes. Did we pass that?
No, you need
No
to
call
hear
vote.
it.
I was too busy talking.
You gotta call the vote.
All in favor, carried. Next, we have to adopt the 2026 capital budget. A mover and a seconder, please.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that council for the Township of Bonfield hereby approves and adopts the 2026 capital budget as presented this 14th day of April 2026 with total expenditures equaling $795,545.
All in favor, carried. You don't want to talk about
I
it?
think I kind of did it all at once there, yeah. Lots of great capital work happening.
Okay,
Lots of great capital work and yet somehow not enough because there's the pressure.
Never enough.
Never enough.
never enough. So next we got all of 10. We're into 11 now. This is correspondence. You just want me to go through it or you're going to accept the correspondence? Is there any, I'll go through it quickly. If there's anything you want to support.
Yeah, I had contacted, Andre to support, 3 motions.
Okay. Phenom. Board advances. Oh, I'm just, anybody say yes and then, Northern Priorities at meeting in Kirkland Lake. You want to support that? Do we need to do anything with that one or is it just information?
I believe it was just information.
Yeah, I think so, with the meeting and their priorities with the roads in Northern Ontario and then, well, I guess there's these 3 and Phenom calls for fair housing funding as development charge changes risk leaving northern communities behind. And then Phenom supports Provincial Highway 11 and 17.
That's one of the ones I
Yeah,
support.
that's the one you want to support. And,
And the North Glengarry one,
Yeah,
for sure. The Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund that they don't give us anymore.
we're supporting that one.
Yes.
Yes, please.
And, well, here we come, the city of North Bay to purchase the escarpment. We already talked about that. And then North Glengarry, Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. And
And then-
Phenom Compassionate Intervention. So could I have a motion to accept the correspondence?
there's the one for the Key Northern Investment in Ontario Budgets and Nord's Extension.
There's a separate motion for that.
Yeah.
So I have from Counselor McInnes, item C, D, F.
I guess I should have just said that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
why Andre's here.
Any other ones besides those 3?
No,
Nope.
those are the.
Okay. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that council receives a correspondence circulated with the agenda of April 14th, 2026, and further that council supports the following items, C, D, F, And further, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the appropriate ministries, the originator of the proposal, and MPP Vic Fideli and/or MP Pauline Rochford.
All in favor? Carried. And next we have the confirmatory bylaw. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that the council for the Township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-19 to confirm the proceedings of council from March 24th, 2026 to April 14th, 2026, as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of April, 2026.
All in favor? Carried. Now we're going into closed session, so we'll have to ask our audience to leave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Darn it, eh? Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming.
Yes,
and
thank
You guys came to a big
Thank
meeting.
you.
Budgets and attenders.
You don't come to